Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Naruto Storm. Guys, please subscribe my channel to support me and to get latest update of my videos. So friends, today you are watching the first episode of a latest series named What if Naruto and Shikamaru recruited in the Seven Swordsmen. So now my friend Alexander will tell you the story.
The fifth Mizukage, Mei Terumi, looked at two of her subordinates. Go ahead with these targets. They are the candidates for the last slots on the team. And whatever you do, make sure that you persuade them with reason no matter what, especially for the first one. Understood? The two Kirigakure ninja who were assigned to the task nodded. Indeed, Mei-sama. Good. Now go. The two Kirigakure ninja body flickered away as Mei gave the order. Naruto raced towards the wilderness while carrying the scroll of seals. His aim was to become the Hokage and gain the respect of the people because he was aware that they despised him. Graduating from the academy was the first step he had to accomplish in order to become Hokage. Mizuki had told him to take the scroll of seals to graduate, so the Konoha ninja in training had snuck into the Hokage tower to obtain it and graduate. The dark forest lay ahead of Naruto, the trees towering over the young Jinchuriki. The meeting point with Mizuki was close by. Naruto ran forward, but unbeknownst to him, a pair of bloodshot round eyes were focused on him. How did this not even genin ninja sneak into Hokage Tower and steal something wearing that bright orange jumpsuit in the middle of the night? The person staring at Naruto said, smelling the scent of the blonde ninja in training. And he's also a Jinchuriki. I need to improvise. This guy is probably a better fit for the squad than the second candidate that Mei-sama suggested. The mysterious Kirigakure ninja jumped down to confront Naruto. How did you sense me? Naruto asked, grabbing a kunai knife. I smelled you. The Kiri nin said, his scaly, blue skin showing under the moonlight. Do you want to become a genin? Yeah. Naruto said. I failed the ninja exam, so I would take any chance to be a genin. Which is why I'm borrowing this from the Hokage to give to Mizuki, so I can become a genin. The sword behind the scaly man growled. The Kiri nin, the famous wielder of Samahata Kisame Hoshigaki chuckled. Well, this Mizuki is definitely lying. Really? Naruto asked, and the nodding of Kisami's head confirmed it. Then, how am I going to become a genin? How am I going to become the Hokage? Give up on becoming Hokage. I have an even better deal for you. One that will involve you becoming a ninja, Kisame said in his gruff voice. Never. Naruto hollered, as he entered a fighting stance. Naruto weaved one hand seal, using the ninjutsu he had learned from the scroll of seals, the shadow clone jutsu. Impressive. Kisame said, but he quickly counterattacked, sending out water sharks from the ground to attack Naruto's clones. Should you accept, you'll be trained so that you can be as strong as me, perhaps even stronger. Naruto prepared another attack, drawing from his near unlimited chakra pool. More clones appeared, surrounding Kisame from all angles. Again, the Kirigakure swordsmen sent out water sharks to defeat Naruto's clones. Suddenly, a huge shuriken appeared out of nowhere. I've got you now, demon brat. Mizuki said, jumping out of the forest. I've got you cornered. You never will become a genin. I'll use this scroll to become very powerful. Naruto braced himself, unsure of what to do. Fortunately for Naruto, the blow never came. Kisame had blocked the shuriken with his sword, knocking the oversized shuriken to the ground. Now, it's time for you to go, Kisame said, as he sliced at Mizuki. With one slash, Mizuki was dead. That one attack was enough to convince Naruto to accept. Yeah. I'm coming. Naruto said. Good. Kisame said. We're heading to Kirigakure. The two disappeared into the night. The third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, woke up to the calling of an Anbu officer, Tiger. Hiruzen looked around, unsure as to why Tiger was calling him in the middle of the night. He had fallen asleep on his desk doing paperwork, and deep in his heart, he hoped that the wake-up call was not about the papers he had to skim through and sign. The call wasn't about paperwork. It was much worse. Hokage-sama. The scroll of seals has disappeared, Tiger said, the third Hokage instantly upping his guard. Also, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is gone. Naruto. Hiruzen thought to himself, shocked by the disappearance of one of his pupil's children and a valuable Konoha artifact written by the first Hokage as well as his sensei's brother, Hashirama Senju himself. Have I already failed you, Minato? Hiruzen's train of thought was cut off almost instantaneously by the entry of one of his former friends, Danzo Shimura. Hurry up and act. We need the weapon back, as well as the scroll of Konoha forbidden jutsus, Danzo barked. Don't call Naruto a weapon. He's a human, and a valuable asset to the village. Hiruzen said firmly. Tiger, send a platoon of 3 Anbu, Kakashi Hatake, Might Guy, and Asuma Sarutobi to retrieve Naruto Uzumaki and bring him back to Konoha. Yes sir, Tiger said, as he instantly darted away to perform his duty. Danzo scoffed at Hiruzen, before walking away himself. I wonder what happens in his brain. Hiruzen thought. Danzo is not to be trusted, and I suspect that Root is still active. Ow, the sole Byakugan user not from Konohagakure, ran out of Konoha with a companion following after. The experienced ninja ran towards the forest outside of Konohagakure, the rendezvous point with his accomplice, Kisame. The trees towered above Ao's head, but he kept on running, until he reached Kisame. Oi! You got the brat? Kisame asked Ao, who replied with a silent nod. Wasn't your brat supposed to be Sasuke Uchiha? Ao inquired, curious as to why Kisame would change his target in the middle of the mission. Long story. I'll explain later, Kisame said. Let's go, before Konoha comes looking for their scroll, and their Jinchuriki. At that very moment, as they ran off towards Kirigakure, a Konoha search party emerged from the shadows. Someone was here just now. The sensory Anbu officer, Eagle, reported. I think I see them. Let's go. Kakashi Hatake barked, as the squadron began the pursuit of Naruto Uzumaki and the Scroll of Seals, top of form. Ao looked back towards Konoha with his stolen Byakugan. I see pursuers, Ao said, pointing towards the Naruto retrieval squadron. 6 of them, to be exact. Speed up, brats. Kisame barked, before preparing another ninjutsu to slow the pursuers down. Earth-style, mud wall. A wall of earth rose from the ground, before the group continued running. Naruto and Shikamaru tried their best to keep up, and both, especially Shikamaru, knew that if they even slowed down for a moment, the Konoha ninja would catch up to them. Despite the fact that Kisame and Ao were slowing down to fit the pace of the 2 junior ninja, they still were ahead of the 2 Konoha defectors. Ao checked for the Konoha ninja tailing them again, and reported 6 pursuers again. Kisame, still level-headed even though they were being chased by skilled Konoha Jonin, barked out another order. Naruto, use your clone jutsu, send all the clones in different directions except back. Kisame ordered. Got it, Datbeo, Naruto said, as he formed the 1 seal for the shadow clone jutsu. 50 shadow clones sprung up out of nowhere, and ran away from the main group. Naruto grinned, pleased with his jutsu. They're getting closer, but they're starting to split up into 2 cells. Ao said, I can get more specific information now. The ninja in this platoon include Asuma Sarutobi, the copy ninja Kakashi Hatake, and Might Guy. Mei sat in her chair, wondering about how her Jonin squad were doing on their mission to retrieve the recruits for her new organization. Thoughts raced through her brain, anxious about the success of the mission. Then, she remembered that she had sent 2 of her most capable Jonin in all of Kirigakure, and calmness washed over her. A Kirigakure Anbu teleported into her office with a body flicker, before giving a report. Mei-sama, Kisame and his retrieval squad are nearing Nami no Kuni. Are we sending reinforcements? The Anbu officer asked. Mei nodded. Send Zabuza and Ganryu to retrieve them at the meeting point in Nami no Kuni. Yes, ma'am. The Anbu officer replied, saluting before darting away to perform his job. Kakashi Hatake, Asuma Sarutobi, Might Guy, and Eagle chased after the Kirigakure ninja at full speed, Eagle using his Byakugan to scout ahead. I see 4 figures, Eagle exclaimed, pointing towards Kisame, Ao, and the 2 Konoha defectors. The Konoha ninja sped up, beginning to near the defectors. Kakashi began weaving hand seals, pulling his headband off his Sharingan. Suddenly, Kisame stopped. Kakashi released his jutsu, exhaling a fireball at the Samahata wielder. Kisame instantly countered by slicing through the attack with Samahata. Go! Kisame shouted, as Ao sealed up Naruto and Shikamaru to go faster. Water style, 4 shark shower. Kisame Hoshigaki, the monster of Kirigakure. Kakashi said. Where is Naruto Uzumaki? 4 water sharks rained down towards the Konoha ninja, dropping down like lightning. Kakashi countered with the earth style, mud wall, before forming the hand seals for another ninjutsu. Asuma and Eagle used the opportunity to pursue Ao, who had Naruto, Shikamaru, and ironically, the Scroll of Seals, sealed into a scroll. Front Lotus, Guy screamed, kicking Kisame into the air. Lightning style. Lightning current, enhanced. Kakashi said, releasing a concentrated bolt of electricity at the mid-air Kisame. Kisame grinned at the fun he was having dueling the Konoha ninja, but another attack was coming. Mid-air, the skilled swordsman blocked the attack with Samahata. He glanced at his second opponent, Might Guy, who was preparing for another attack. As his body touched the ground, Kisame slammed his hand into the ground again, forming a mud wall. The defensive move was enough to buy him some time, as he prepared to continue the fight. As the taijutsu and ninjutsu battle raged on, Kisame could feel Guy's power increasing slowly. Is this the 8 gates that Fubuki told me about? Kisame wondered, blocking another barrage of ninjutsu. Suddenly, Guy's speed rapidly increased, as his face reddened, and his facial veins bulged outwards. Asakujaku, Guy screamed, hitting Kisame with a flurry of punches. Kisame wiped the blood off his cheek, before he ripped off the bandages of Samahata. The facial features of a shark began appearing on his face, as Samahata disappeared. Soon, Kisame was a human shark. Harudora, Guy shouted, hitting Kisame with a super-powered and lightning-fast punch. Only a bruise appeared on Kisame's chest, but that wouldn't last long. Kakashi's hand glowed with lightning chakra, preparing his fabled lightning cutter. Kakashi lunged at Kisame, and the shark sword wielder, slightly dazed from the 6 gates taijutsu attack just before, couldn't dodge. All Kisame could do was spin around, Kakashi's attack only hitting the side of his waist. Kisame grimaced. Well, my job here is done. That was a fun battle, Kisame said, smirking. Mist slowly creeped around the area, and before Kakashi and Guy could stop him, Kisame was gone in a flicker. Ao ran towards the port a while away, already at the border of Nami no Kuni. Asuma and Eagle were hot in pursuit, and Ao knew that the 2 other Anbu that Naruto's clones had distracted were coming to assist soon. All he had to do was get to the ship, and reinforcements would be there and do the rest. Water style. Water shockwave. Ao said, sending another wave of water at the Konoha ninja behind. Ao would soon be out of chakra, already spending so much on keeping his Byakugan active and sending out jutsus when Asuma and Eagle were getting dangerously close. Plus, the seal on Naruto and Shikamaru was hard to maintain. Hee. Asuma chuckled, releasing an earth-style technique to send another attack flying towards Ao. His Byakugan showing him the incoming attack, Ao dodged, giving Asuma more time to catch up. Just when Ao was about to run out, Kisame's body flickered over, fending off Asuma and Eagle. Great timing, Ao said, catching his breath before continuing the run towards the port. Fire style. Burning ash, Asuma said, spewing out gunpowder from his open mouth and lighting it on fire. Kisame instantly countered with a water-style technique. Unfortunately for the Kirigakure ninja, Kakashi and Guy were back on their tail. Kisame grunted, seeing as his enemies were back. I see the port, Ao exclaimed, before speeding up with whatever chakra he had remaining. Kisame followed suit, darting towards the port. Kakashi, Asuma, and Guy ran at top speed, not wanting their target to get away. In the final leg of the race, the Konoha squadron began to get close to their targets, right behind Kisame and Ao. Boo! Kakashi said, a lightning cutter in his hand. Kakashi prepared to stab it into Ao's back, but suddenly, a wide blade, also wrapped in bandages, blocked the attack. You guys need some help? The wielder of the Haramekure blade, Ganryu asked, Zabuza appearing next to him. Ao let out a sigh of relief, saved by his comrade's blade. Using the remnants of his chakra, Ao ran across the dock onto the Kirigakure ship. Out of chakra, Ao fainted. Ganryu and Zabuza drew their blades, Haramekure and Kabikirabocho respectively. Do you want to duel? Zabuza asked, a smug grin on his face. Water clone jutsu. Zabuza clones appeared out of the water, surrounding the Konoha ninja. Kisame used this opportunity to get into the boat, protecting the packages that was Naruto and Shikamaru. Kakashi quickly formed the seals for Earth style, Doom Quake, as the ground began to shake. Some of the clones disappeared, forming a thick mist around the area. Kakashi. Tell me where the real Zabuza is, Guy said, and his partner nodded, Kakashi's implanted Sharingan glowing red. There. Kakashi said, turning his head towards the real Zabuza. Harudora, Guy said, launching a speedy punch at the real Zabuza. The attack was too fast to dodge or do a substitution jutsu on. Zabuza flew backwards from the impact. Ganryu used his sword to start fighting Kakashi and Guy, blocking Guy's weaker impacts with his sword and using his own ninjutsu to counter Kakashi's Sharingan and repertoire of techniques. The taijutsu user is getting weaker, Ganryu thought, before kneeing Guy in the stomach. Weak from the continuous use of the 8 gates, Guy could not take the hit as well as at the start of the battle. Ganryu began relentlessly barraging Guy with sword slashes, the master of taijutsu slowly getting pushed back. You know, I fought your father before. Ganryu taunted. I lost, but you're much weaker than him. Guy began roaring with anger, preparing to open up the 7th and 8th gates, but Kakashi shook his head. Don't do it, Guy. Kakashi berated. This mission isn't worth your entire body. Guy obeyed. Kakashi continued his jutsu chain, attacking Ganryu with his near-infinite arsenal. Taking advantage of the chaos, Asuma crept towards the boat where the seal containing Naruto and Shikamaru was held. The former member of the 12 Guardian Ninjas' hand reached into the boat, but a sharp blade came coming down on his hand. Just in time, Asuma retracted his arm. You forgot I was here, didn't you? Kisame said, recovering at a fast pace. Even with his abnormal recovery rate rivaling that of the weakest-tailed beast, the 6 gates attacks had taken a toll on his body. They call me the tailless-tailed beast for a reason, you know. Asuma's mouth morphed into a frown. Damn. I thought I could retrieve the Jinchuriki. Asuma cursed, before grabbing his chakra blades and preparing to fight. Asuma's chakra glowed brightly around the blades resembling sharp knuckle dusters. Kisami's hand wrapped around Samahata, ready to trade blows with the Konoha Jonin. I probably won't even need to enter shark mode, Kisame said, yawning. Asuma lunged at Kisame, a calm look still on his face. If I hit him while he's not focused, I might shift the flow of the battle in my favor, Asuma thought, as he slashed his chakra blade at Kisame. First mistake, Kisame said, before sidestepping and using the hilt of the blade to hit Asuma. Asuma quickly dodged the hit, before throwing his blade at Kisame. Kisame dodged again, but the blade veered his direction. Wind style. Jade Hurricane, Asuma said, before coming in close. You're not bad, Kisame said, but nowhere near the level of your comrades. Raigo. Thousand Hand Strike, Asuma said, as the spirit of cannon appeared behind him. Attack. The cannon turned into a demon-like creature, before launching 1,000 fists at Kisame. The speed of the strikes was nowhere near Guy's, but the timing of the punches was near perfect. Even with Samahata, Kisame couldn't dodge every attack. Second form. Kunai Fist, Asuma directed, the spirit grabbing kunai out of Asuma's pouch and beginning to relentlessly throw the knives at Kisame. It's true that this technique is more useful in the hands of Chiriku, but my version is close enough. Unlike the last attack, Kisame was able to dodge the kunai. Asuma just smirked, before forming a hand seal. The kunai veered towards Kisame from behind, but Samahata's user just took the hit. The wounds quickly healed, the second impact nowhere near the power of the first. Got it, Asuma said, revealing the scroll with Naruto and Shikamaru sealed in it. Let's go. Kakashi, Guy, and Eagle nodded, as they took off towards Konoha. The scroll. Ganryu yelled to Kisame. Because all 4 Kirigakure ninja were tired from the long fight, nobody went after the scroll. Ao still hadn't awoken from the chakra depletion. Zabuza and Ganryu were injured and tired from the fight with opponents at their level, and Kisame, he just wasn't following the Konoha ninja. Ganryu and Zabuza prepared to go after the enemies, but Kisami's icy hand stopped them. We have a plan. He reassured his teammates on the 7 Swordsmen of the Mist. Both swordsmen knew that Kisame was superior to them, and trusted in him. They didn't chase after the Konoha ninja. After a while, when the Naruto retrieval squad was gone, the Kirigakure ninja prepared to depart for the village. Kisame raised his hand, and a water dome arose from under the water. Inside it was Naruto and Shikamaru, as well as the scroll of seals. So we didn't lose the package, Zabuza noted, it was just a decoy. It was his idea. Kisame nodded, pointing at Shikamaru. When I was recovering in the ship, Ao's seal loosened, and the contents were released. Nobody noticed because they were too caught up in the battle. Oh, Ganryu said, his trust and respect of Kisame growing even more. He told me to make a fake seal for them to steal, seeing as they already forgot about our ship. I gave him a scroll and he used it to draw a fake seal, and I hid them underwater with the water prison technique. Kisame continued his explanation. I've gotta admit, that idea is ingenious. I get why Mei-sama wants you. Shikamaru gave no response. Let's go, Ganryu said, as the Kirigakure ninja boarded the boat and sailed into the vast waters ahead. Kakashi, Asuma, Guy, and their squadmates returned to Hokage Tower, the scroll in hand. Naruto and the scroll of seals are sealed in this scroll. Eagle reported to the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. The old Hokage tried to unseal the scroll, but the scroll wouldn't open. "This seal is fake," he said. "Where are they?" I don't know, sir," one of the other Anbu replied. "You guys should have checked the scroll on the way back," Hiruzen said, disappointed in the Naruto retrieval squad. Where did he go, and who abducted him? Kakashi had an answer in mind to this question. "I think it was Kirigakure, sir." The boat sailed into the gates of Kirigakure. Kisame weaved a simple seal onto the water, and the gate opened. The boat holding the package that Mei had ordered was here, and the mission was a success. The team got off the ship, onto the village that was Kirigakure. The bright lanterns hanging on the street illuminated the night, and the tall houses littered the streets. The team walked along the streets, until they arrived right in front of the towering and magnificent residence of the Mizukage Spire. "Welcome to Kirigakure." Naruto, Kisame, Shikamaru, and the two other swordsmen entered the huge tower known to everyone as the Mizukage Spire. The towering cylindrical structure with a domed top overlooked Kirigakure, the new look contrasting with the past look during the Bloody Mist era. The narrow body and the wide, domed top of the spire magnified the sense of power ever present in the structure. The eyes of the Konoha defectors darted around the building, stunned at the splendor of the tower. "Whoa," Naruto said, astonished. "Yeah, this is where Mizukage-sama works," Ao said, pointing at the domed space at the top of the tower. "But her office is not where we're headed. Follow me." Ao and the three swordsmen of the mist accompanying him infused their chakra into a seal on the wall. In a poof of smoke, the 4 Kirigakure Jonin and 2 former Konoha trainees disappeared. In the village hidden in the leaves, Hiruzen Sarutobi's head ached. He had lost the Nara heir, the scroll containing powerful jutsu written by the first Hokage, and worst of all, the biggest advantage Konoha had over its neighbors, the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Even a few of the toughest shinobi in Konoha had failed to retrieve the scroll containing these 3 things, tricked by the captors of Naruto. On top of that, Danzo had used the absence of the graduated Shikamaru to place one of his Anbu in a squad with Sasuke Uchiha, under the reason of keeping the last Uchiha safe. Hiruzen groaned, tired from all the thinking and paperwork. "Hokage-sama," Eagle exclaimed, body flickering into the room. "What?" Hiruzen complained. "We just confirmed that the kidnappers of the Nine Tails Jinchuriki are from Kirigakure," Eagle said. Kakashi and Guy both saw their headbands, and nearby bystanders from Nami no Kuni saw the swordsmen heading in the direction of Kirigakure. "I will personally write a letter to the new Mizukage requesting the return of Naruto and Shikamaru," Hiruzen responded sternly. "Yes, Hokage-sama," Eagle said, disappearing into the village. The Konoha defection squad teleported into the training area under the Mizukage Spire, where several other ninja around Naruto's age were already gathered. The 5th Mizukage, Mei Terumi, stood next to the 4 other swordsmen of the mist. "So, you guys are finally here," Mei said, pleased with the success of the mission. Suddenly, Mei noticed something odd. Gesturing to Kisame, Mei called her subordinate over. "Yes, Mizukage-sama." Kisame inquired as to why he was called over. He had suspicions that it was because he did not bring the original target, Sasuke Uchiha, but instead Naruto. "I have faith in your abilities, but why did you bring this Konoha ninja in an orange jumper instead of Uchiha Sasuke? And, is that a chakra like the last Mizukage I sense?" Mei whispered. "Naruto Uzumaki impressed me," Kisame said. "Also, he carries 2 additional gifts with him." Mei's eyes perked up, curious as to what Kisame was talking about. Mei knew that Kisame was not easily impressed, and wanted to know what feat Naruto had performed to earn Kisami's attention. Naruto Uzumaki broke into the Hokage Tower and stole the scroll of seals wearing that bright orange jumpsuit in the middle of the night, Kisame said. "And that chakra you sensed is the chakra of his prisoner, the nine-tailed fox." "Oh," Mei said, finally understanding the reasoning behind that choice. "When will Jinin come back from the academy?" Jinin Akabino, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist and wielder of Kabutowari, stood in the Kirigakure Ninja Academy, changed significantly from the academy at the time of the Bloody Mist. Now, instead of the last ninja standing graduating, the shinobi in the academy graduated if they were able to pass the test by performing several basic ninjutsu. However, today was different. Jinin's sharp glare pierced through the classroom, penetrating the eyes of the young genin. This group of genin were the strongest 8 in the last batch of graduates, offered the chance of a lifetime, if they could pass an extra test. Jinin looked at the genin in front of him, dueling each other with swords. The test was a tournament of kenjutsu, where each genin was taught the very basics of swordsmanship and then fought each other using those blades. Right now, only the semifinals remained before the victor would be decided. Next match is Suigetsu Hazuka against Misuno, and Kimimaro Kagaya against Noaki Fushin. Jinin announced, as the four genin grabbed their blades. Begin. Sparks flew as jutsu were cast, blades colliding with intense force. Each genin was using a unique battle style to supplement their blades. Kimimaro's left-hand bone acted as a second blade, while a vortex of wind and water from Noaki enveloped his sword. Suigetsu's unique Kekkei Genkei allowed him to dodge attacks swiftly before landing his own, and Misuno's orthodox but efficient movements allowed her to trade blows with her opponent. This group of genin is stronger than I expected. Mizukage-sama may have to do some team rearranging. Jinin thought, as the battles soon came to an end. Suigetsu raised his blade, Misuno on the ground. Kimimaro followed suit, barely beating Noaki. The finals was about to commence, and Jinin was curious to see who would come out on top. Begin. Suigetsu immediately melted into water, evading Kimimaro's first slash. Suigetsu materialized again, landing a strike on Kimimaro. Unfortunately for the Hazuka, Kimimaro had already prepared another bone, blocking the sword blow. Grunting, Kimimaro pulled out a bone from his chest and slashed furiously. A puddle of water appeared behind Kimimaro, as Suigetsu formed and sliced. Kimimaro spun around in time, blocking Suigetsu's attack. Water style. Water wall. Suigetsu said, a water barrier arising from the ground to stop the sharp bone strike. Suigetsu emptied his water bottle, baring his teeth at Kimimaro. The two Kirigakure genin traded blows, dodging each other's attacks. Both ninja used their bodies as weapons, evenly matched. As Kimimaro caught his breath, Suigetsu struck. Tired from chakra exhaustion, Kimimaro couldn't deal with the attack. Suigetsu grinned, and began a barrage of attacks. To no avail, the last Kagaya tried his very best to stop as many attacks as possible. Kimimaro collapsed. Suigetsu Hazuka is the winner, Jinin said. Suigetsu, let's go. Mizukage-sama is waiting. The duo body flickered away, towards the gathering area. Danzo Shimura stood on a podium, in front of hundreds of Anbu soldiers loyal to only himself. This branch of Anbu was named Root, and although Hiruzen had ordered the disbanding of this group, Danzo had kept it going for the safety of Konoha. Because of the stupidity of the third Hokage, we lost both the Scroll of Seals and the Nine Tails to Kirigakure. Danzo announced. His top shinobi were fooled by a decoy planted by Kiri, and Hokage-sama is writing a letter to Kirigakure, coward. Danzo's eyes scoured the crowd in front of him, before pointing at a lion-masked Anbu. Execute that spy from Iwagakure, Danzo ordered. The Anbu officer standing next to him slaughtered the Iwagakure spy mercilessly, his face void of expression. The lion-faced Anbu's reaction was too slow, only midway through weaving the hand seals for a defensive earth-style ninjutsu. Danzo smiled slightly, pleased with how Root was coming along. The mindless obedience of his Anbu made them pretty much his slaves, albeit highly skilled ones. For the good of Konoha, Danzo said, his Root Anbu repeating after him. Fu, Torun, Hinoto, Sai, stay behind. The Root members dispersed to resume their posts, except the four shinobi that Danzo had mentioned. Danzo gave them quick instructions, before they nodded, and prepared for the mission ahead of them. After all, it was for the good of Konoha, right? Jinin Akabino and the winner of the academy competition, Suigetsu Hazuka, ran at full speed towards Mizukage Spire. Jinin and Suigetsu channeled their chakra into the seal at the lobby, before teleporting to the training area below the island village known as Kirigakure. Finally, you're here, Mei said, so you won. Mangetsu Hazuka said to his younger brother, I would expect that from you. Unfazed, Suigetsu scoffed at his older brother's comment, but an interjection from the Mizukage silenced everyone. Shall we begin? Mei asked in a commanding tone. Everybody immediately stopped. All right. The seven swordsmen placed their blades on the ground, each of the swords emitting absurd amounts of energy. Even the mostly unexperienced successors could sense the power levels of the weapons. The first blade, Haramekure, was wielded by Ganryu. The second blade, Kabutowari, was wielded by Jinin Akabino. The third blade, Kiba, was wielded by Amayuri Ringo. The fourth blade, Kabikirabocho, was wielded by Zabuza Momochi. The fifth, Nuabari, was wielded by Kushimaru Kurare. The sixth blade, Shibuki, was wielded by Jinpachi Munashi. And the seventh and final blade, possibly the strongest of them all, Samahata, wielded by the monster of the hidden mist, Kisame Hoshigaki. Each blade was to be inherited by a member of the younger generation. Each one of you 7 will be able to choose a sword, out of these 7. Mei informed the 7 ninja before her. You will be given the sword that suits you best, then will train under the swordsman that mastered your blade. On top of that, we will have other jonin training you in basic ninjutsu. Everyone awaiting gaining their blades stared in excitement, their blank eyes twinkling like the stars in the sky. The 2 more experienced ninja, Chojuro and Mangetsu Hazuka, already had an idea of which blade they wanted and were most suited to use, most likely due to experience. Chojuro, Mei said, as the young jonin grinned, and walked forward, gripping Haramakure with his 2 hands. The twin sword hummed with energy, beginning storing Chojuro's chakra inside the great blade. It was clear that Haramakure was a perfect fit for the blue-haired teen. Ganryu nodded, confirming that Haramakure would become Chojuro's. Mei gestured at Kirigakure's second coming of the demon, the veteran Mangetsu Hazuka. The prodigy had spent most of his career training and learning kenjutsu, never bothering to try to get promoted. Mangetsu walked over to the remaining blades, testing every one. Kiba accepted him. Kabikirabocho let him wield it. Nuabari didn't deny him. Shibuki didn't blow up. Samahada allowed Mangetsu to hold the sword. Kabutowari received him. Mangetsu's emotionless face allowed a slight hint of satisfaction to appear on his face. Samahada? Mei asked Kisame. It didn't stop him. Kisame shook his head in disappointment. Mangetsu won't wield Samahada unless he is the only one who can. Samahada just let him use it, not chosen him. We'll decide later. Mei instructed Mangetsu, who nodded and returned to the almost swordsman, Renmara. The young shinobi with an extremely rare Kekkei Genkei strode up to the swords, his brownish-reddish eyes skimming through the selections of overpowered weapons before him. His eyes focused on 2 blades, Nuabari and Kiba. The longsword and the thunder swords glittered in the eyes of Renmara, picking up Nuabari first. The blade gave no reaction. The purple-haired genin silently wished that his next choice would accept him, praying to Kami. Here goes nothing, Renmara thought, as he clasped the thunder swords with both arms. The twin lightning blades crackled with electricity, sizzling with eagerness. Renmara looked with glee at Kiba, excited to become the wielder of one of the 7 swords of Kirigakure. Next person, Mei said. Haku. Zabuza's apprentice walked over, glancing at the 5 remaining blades. Instinctively, due to the long time she had spent with Zabuza before he accepted Mei's invitation to return to Kiri, she picked up Kabikirabocho, the blade of her master. As disappointed as his face showed, Zabuza shook his head. Kabikirabocho isn't suited for Haku. The Sever Sword is more for taijutsu and offensive ninjutsu users, not efficient genjutsu and support jutsu users. Haku's eyes drooped, unable to wield her master's blade. Her second choice was the Blasword, Shibuki. As soon as Haku touched the grip, the hilt exploded, signaling that this blade wasn't the one for her. Dejectedness sneered at Haku, her saddened eyes about to try the blade most incompatible with her, Kabutowari. Suddenly, a sword that looked like a large senbon glinted in the corner of the ice release user's eye. Instantly, Haku ran over to grab the blade. The longsword, Nuabari. Delight showed itself on the covered face of Kushimaru Karare. Yes, yes. This is the one who will wield Nuabari, he sneered. Haku excitedly spun the blade in her arms. The narrow but long needle-like sword felt as light as a feather, just like the feel of her signature senbon. Haku walked back to continue waiting. On the way, Nuabari knew that Kushimaru, their master from the old 7, had touched it. The ice-cold metal was definitely the result of Haku's unique Kekkei Genkei. You were right, Zabuza. Kushimaru muttered. Mei pointed at Suigetsu, and the proud Hazuka trotted over to the remaining swords. Suigetsu's pride forced him to go for the pickiest sword of all, Samahada, first. Suigetsu's palm wrapped around the grip. And chink. Spikes protruded from the hilt of Samahada, in clear denial of Suigetsu. Suigetsu had activated his Kekkei Genkei a bit too late. By the time his hand had melted into water, the water was already red with blood. Ugh. Suigetsu growled in frustration, as his hand swapped to Kabutowari, still alert from Samahada's rejection. The young ninja looked at Kisami's face, the monster of the mist gladly looking down on him. Suigetsu hated that look, unaware that he sometimes would wear that very same proud face. Suigetsu grabbed Kabutowari, the bluntsword having no reaction to his grip. Try the next blade. Jinin said, knowing that this was neither acceptance nor denial. Suigetsu's hand hovered over Kabikirabocho, and finally, his fingers made contact. The bloodstained palm helped. A lot. The hilt of the executioner's blade shifted to fit Suigetsu's hand, the tip of the blade radiating with chakra. The elated grin on Suigetsu's face more than confirmed the fact that both blade and wielder had chosen one another. Mei glanced at the remaining blades. Only 3 remained: Shibuki, the Blastsword, Kabutowari, the Bluntsword, and Samahata, the Greatsword, and one of them was already occupied by Mangetsu. And the final 2 ninja who needed to get their blades were the 2 shinobi defecting from Konoha, Shikamaru Nara and Naruto Uzumaki. Uzumaki. The thought had never crossed Mei's mind. Wasn't the Uzumaki clan the clan of master sealers that Kiri, Kumo, and Iwa had to work together to defeat? If so, then the boy had a crazy amount of untapped potential. And Naruto's face reminded Mei of one of Kiri's enemies in the Third Great War, one of the extremely strong ones, but Mei couldn't recall who. Mei shrugged off the thought, making a mental note to come back to it later, before calling Shikamaru. Shikamaru, your turn. What a drag. Shikamaru muttered, but walked over to choose a sword anyways. I'm not bothering with Samahata, too much unnecessary trouble, Shikamaru thought. The Nara picked up Kabutowari, the Bluntsword heavy in his hands. Shikamaru shook his head, knowing that this was not the blade for him. Besides, he had never wanted this one either. Looking at the 2 final blades, Samahata and Shibuki, he knew that if he chose the blade that didn't choose him, his hand would get injured. After a considerable amount of considering, Shikamaru settled on Shibuki, the less picky blade. Sure enough, the blade blew up. The explosions weren't from the hilt. The actual blade of Shibuki was exploding. Jinpachi smirked. Yup, this is Shibuki's new wielder. I'm gonna have tons of fun with this one. Shikamaru groaned. Finally, it was Naruto's turn. Alright, it's my turn, Datbeo, Naruto said, walking up excitedly. Despite his defection to Kirigakure, his bubbly personality had remained. Naruto grabbed Kabutowari, but shook his head. The blade was not well suited for his fighting style, and it was not very efficient. Kabutowari was mainly suited for hard hitters and people with unorthodox fighting styles that involved taijutsu and offense, even more so than Kabikirabocho. Naruto's hand hovered over the blade known as Samahata. He wasn't afraid of the spikes, he had endured worse. With confidence, Naruto took a deep breath and his hand enveloped the grip. The spikes never came. Samahata's killing intent grew tenfold, as everyone in the room looked in astonishment. Naruto, Kisame said, excited. Samahata has chosen you.